We're live in Las Vegas. It's Alex Belfield talking to the biggest stars, and we're here at the Steve Wyrick Theatre, which is a peculiar name, isn't it? Why can't he just call himself Steve Rick or something?
I don't understand that. I'm not going to pick on anybody else's name, Alec.
Yeah, exactly. Ron Lucas is a genius. I first saw you years and years ago on Letterman, and then I've seen you since, and recently you were on Ventriloquist Week again. It's a unique act, and I think one of the reasons people love you is because your characters are so lovable.
I hope so. I don't know if I'm a genius or not. That was a very, very nice compliment to say. But I tried to infuse my characters with a lot of individuality and aspects of my personality that just never got out when I was a kid.
So are you just some kind of frustrated psychomaniac then?
I can buy that. Yeah, that's a very good label. I can start advertising. Ron Lucas, frustrated psychomaniac. Or in Las Vegas, we say, let's get drunk and go see a puppet show.
Well, I don't know about that because you're on early. You're doing a 3 o'clock show. So are there still drunk people in your audience?
This is Las Vegas. I don't think I need to say anything more than that, Alec.
What is it like being here? Because, I mean, it's the most bizarre place to work because it's so false, it's so beautiful, it's so over the top, it's so extreme. But that must kind of get you down every now and again. Do you just leave the kind of showbiz world alone when you leave your show and just go into the suburbs?
Well, absolutely. Actually, I have a ranch that's about 10 miles outside of town, and I have a view of the Strip. But I'm surrounded totally by countryside, a beautiful desert, some really, really nice trees. When I got the place, my wife said, "There's no trees here." And I said, "Well, I counted 40. We actually have no grass, but we have a lot of trees. It's one of those wonderful places that when you used to fly over Las Vegas, you look down and see these little islands, these little squares of green. You wonder who the hell would live out there. Well, now I'm one of those people.
Do you enjoy the buffets and the great restaurants and things like that, or do you literally just go home and have a pizza?
No, I go home and make my own pasta more than anything. But yes, the restaurants here are fantastic. I have a joke I've never used in the show yet. I haven't had the nerve, saying that Las Vegas has actually really come up in culture. We have first-class ballet. We have a wonderful orchestra. We have 3, 4, and even 1 5-star restaurant. We have incredible hotels, great entertainment. But it is still the largest natural wildlife preserve for either poor or white trash anywhere in the universe.
It is a fascinating place to be, and I've just loved being here for the last few years making these programs because I get to meet people like you, and then I watch people who come and see your shows. Is an afternoon show presumably different to an evening show, or does it not matter?
Oh, it is a lot different. There's a lot more light because it's still day. That's pretty much why it's an afternoon show and not a night show.
Because of course you're in an outdoor theater, aren't you?
No, there's nothing outdoors in Las Vegas. Well, Las Vegas is a 24-hour town, and what's slowly evolved is the fact that a show doesn't really seem to matter what the time is. People can go see my show and then go have dinner and then go catch another show, or then go do some gaming or gambling, or you know, just have a fun time.
Since I've been here, I've done a 2 o'clock show, a 5 o'clock show, a 7 o'clock show, a 10 o'clock show, and a 2 a.m. show, just to keep me out of the casinos. I think that's probably the reason people love the show so much, just to stop gambling just for 20 minutes.
Well, I don't do any gambling. It's funny, I always get on a plane flying either to L.A. or some other place, and I always get like some tourist who thinks I'm a tourist too, and they go, "Well, did you lose any money?" And I go, "No, every time I come here, I make money."
I've never met anybody who works here or lives here that does actually put any money in the slots whatsoever. It is kind of a fool's game, really. It might be fun, but there aren't that many people going away millionaires, are there?
It is incredibly tempting because in Las Vegas, the surreal part is if you go into a food store, there's gaming machines in the entryway. You go into a druggist or a pharmacy, there's gaming machines everywhere. I'm surprised they're not in school lobbies.
I mean, they literally. I went to fill up with gas the other day, and in the petrol station, they were there playing.
Oh yeah. There's slot machines even in the petrol station.
Now let's talk about your show. How did you become better than most people at it? How did you get the show when others haven't?
I just basically labeled myself better, and everybody bought it.
I presumably slept with everybody in the business.
No, but the puppets have been very active. You know, those foam characters. Yeah, I don't know if we can say this on the BBC. I always wanted to do a joke about the fact that they're 100% foam, so they're very safe sex. Not with me, of course.
I used to be a really classy broadcaster before I started speaking to you. I don't know what's happened since.
Yeah, what's happened to the BBC? You guys have gone down the loo.
Well, we're here in Vegas. What does that tell you? Let's talk about the show and how difficult it is to do, because the thing you do is voices. Nothing gets past me. How do you remember to keep the right voice for the right puppet?
Voices have always come naturally to me. I've been doing voices ever since I was a kid. Ever since I was hit in the head by the meteorite, I've been hearing and doing voices and occasionally making, you know, odd sounds. You know, actually, technically ventriloquists call it polyphony, many sounds. Things like bicycle horns. You know, things like that. The faraway voices. See you later. All right, good luck. You know, things like that. I've been doing all this stuff for a long time, ever since I was a little kid.
It's so clever, and throwing your voice and things like that I just find fascinating, because I'm the kind of guy that wants to know everything. When I saw Steve's show last night with the magic, I want to know how he did it. When I watch you on stage, I want to know how you do it. Can anybody do it, or are you a genius?
Yeah, can you keep a secret? So can I. Actually, I have a book that's just came out. It's called Better Living Through Ventriloquism. It's how to say all the things you shouldn't and still get away with it. And it's based on the fact that I've used ventriloquism to buy a new car. I've used ventriloquism to chat a woman up in the bar, and it's been very, very successful. I mean, back before I got married, I've been married 19 years, very happily, by the way. It's been 10 of the happiest years of my life. You need to know that. So I've used ventriloquism. So, but we went crazy with this book. Me and my writer. There's a guy named Chris Clover, who is a comedy genius, and Chris and I got together and we thought, well, what are the other uses of ventriloquism? So we tried to, how to use your puppet to get off death row, how to use your puppet during a Senate hearing, committee meeting, how to use your puppet, as I said, to buy a car.
So if you're trying to pull someone in a bar, do they think that it's the guy next to you trying to chat them up and not you?
The way I used to do it was I used to have the puppet try chatting up the girl, and then eventually he'd say the wrong thing. And then I'd step in and intervene. I said, sir, you've gone too far. I would start defending her honor, and I'd make the puppet go away.
Have you seen a doctor recently? I mean, is everything okay?
Actually, the book is Better Living Through Ventriloquism by Running Press. They totally threw out my first title, which was How You Can Use Your Mental Illness to Earn You Really Big Bucks.
And what about the difference between a ventriloquist and an impersonator? Presumably you can do both. If you can do your voice that way, you must be able to do voices in another way.
Not necessarily. Most of the good impersonators I know, like Gordy Brown is down at the Venetian. He's just awesome. He does some amazing range of impersonations. And there's some other people here in Las Vegas. They do move their lips. So that does help a little bit. In my case, I've got to do other voices and try very hard to look like I'm not talking at all. So I do a few little things, the obvious things. It's not easy being green. Kermit the Frog and some other things. We do some sort of cod impressions, some fake impressions in the show. Billy's going to do an impression of American politicians, and he keeps falling off my knee like he's just rip-roaring drunk.
Very finally, before we go, we used to have a ventriloquist who used to work on the radio.
Right.
How did he do that?
Peter Broff?
Yes.
Well, clearly his lips didn't move. Or if they did, who could tell?
What's the point of that, though? I still don't understand what he was thinking.
I don't know. It's educating Archie. I'm familiar with that, but we had the same thing in the United States. We had Edgar Bergen, who had a radio show. And I think what it was with a lack of television, what really happened was that he created a cartoon-like character, and we got to appreciate this little wooden kid who was getting into a great deal of trouble. So I always thought it was a great idea.
Well, it must be. I mean, it'd be great for you to do a radio show. It'd be a lot easier. You wouldn't have to put any makeup on or bring your puppets out, would you?
I'm not sure I do that now.
Talking of which, you're 5 minutes before the show. Ron Lucas, thank you so much for talking to me.
Oh, man, it's my pleasure. Me and the puppet say hi.